We spend a lot of time talking about the due diligence process or the work that comes prior to a transition. But I want to talk today about the transition process itself, and specifically what could go wrong during the transition process. Because that's honestly probably the first question we get from most advisors is sort of what are the things I really need to be looking out for? What are the potential holes or landmines that I could be walking into? And there's a couple that we see that have the potential to derail a transition. The first is not properly vetting the firm or platform that you're engaging with. So not doing thorough enough due diligence. And that can be things like book mapping. It can be things like vetting specific banking and lending capabilities, technology, but really making sure you understand all of the ins and outs of a new platform prior to joining. The second is just generally not understanding the entirety of the industry landscape. And this is one that probably comes even before the due diligence process begins in earnest, is a lot of advisors will say, I have a friend who's a manager at XYZ firm, and I know John Smith down the hall went to ABC firm. And what ends up happening is by taking that sort of scattershot approach, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And there may be firms or models that are better able to serve your business that you're not even aware of. The next one is, and this is timely with what's happened recently with a lot of the regional banks, is really understanding the financial health and stability of a firm you're engaging with. And that would include things like, what are the firm's plans for the future? Do they intend to take private equity capital? Do they intend to go public or private? So really getting a sense of how stable the firm is financially now and hopefully in the future as well. Next, and this may be the most important, is really getting a good sense of client portability. And this just requires introspection and soul searching on the part of an advisor, is looking in the mirror and saying, how likely are my clients to follow me? And you really have to handicap that, because that is ultimately the metric by which a successful transition is gauged, is how portable were your assets? How much success did you have moving over client assets? And usually advisors who have solid relationships with clients can get a pretty good understanding even before making a move of how likely each of their clients are to follow them. And then the last one, and this is where engaging with an expert attorney or counsel comes into play, is violating post-employment restrictions. And that can be willingly or unwillingly. So things like not abiding by non-solicits, non-competes, or other restrictive covenants in an employment agreement. This is where we see advisors occasionally run into trouble. The reality is you have to be a model citizen and do everything by the letter of the law, because you don't want to give your former firm any reason to pursue legal action. So following the advice of counsel is critical.